Soulful shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this beat myself, so hear me. I mean, like, we can put all that clown shit away. This some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah, it's in their bones, the thoughts and harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse with only few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
Yes, peeps, we are back in the building, guys. Always, man, smash a like, share, and subscribe. So today we're going to be taking a look at the winger market, the options for Liverpool specifically for this summer. Obviously, if you watched the other videos, we took a look at the Trent replacement. We've taken a look at the left back situation. We've spoken about strikers before in other previous videos as well. So obviously today I just want to take a look at the wingers, and then I think the last one I will do is I think it'll be the midfield. We'll look at the midfield as the kind of last slot, no pun intended, man. So obviously, look, we've got these guys. These are our wingers, right? These are the wingers that we've had this season. So you got Salah, you got Gakpo, you got Luis Diaz. I'm not really including Chiesa because right now I don't really class him as a first team player. I'm sorry, like he just ain't really played enough games. And he hasn't really been too involved, and again, that might change by the time this video comes out. For all I know, that that completely changes. But as of right now, at the time of this video, yeah, I just don't really see it with Federico Chiesa. And if I'm being honest, most of us, myself included, I'm not exempt from this. We kind of want to get rid of the wingers that we do have anyway, to be honest. I mean, Gakpo himself, he's having, somewhat, good season, by his standards. He's getting himself some more goals. He's becoming a bit more pivotal. We've shown in recent weeks anyway that we've kind of missed him. So obviously him being injured and stuff like that, we've had to play Diaz obviously consistently out there, and obviously he's been a bit tired. Diaz, I've always said, is like a very patchy individual. Good moments, he will have that in the season, but I just feel like, I don't know, like he's good on the ball and all that kind of stuff. He works hard, but yeah, it's just not really enough, if I'm being honest, for me. And, it's been proven that, without the goals and stuff like that, Diaz is like he'll always try. I'll give him that. He's God loves a trier, right? But yeah, that's really about it when it comes to Diaz, to be honest with you, which is crazy because when you watch him for Colombia, like he's like a completely different type of individual. But listen, I guess it is what it is, with these kind of things. But obviously Fabrizio talking here about Luis Diaz, saying, look, his information is that at the moment there is nothing advanced or concrete in terms of new contract talks at Liverpool for Luis Diaz. They probably will just, I was going to say cut their losses, but they should get a bit of a fee. I don't know who, maybe Saudi or something like that. But I feel like there's, there will be enough suitors out there for someone like, Luis Diaz anyway. So I don't really envisage that being too much of a problem, if I'm being totally honest with you. One thing that's interesting, and this might be a separate video. So, we'll talk about it when the time comes. It's just funny that, we talk about our attack, right? And we've been talking about this attack for like 2-3 years now. Probably really since Nunes came, to be fair, which is unlucky for him. But Nunes, Diaz, Gakpo, Jota, and Salah, right? The majority of us, the consensus is that we don't really rate them. We're not really too happy with these guys, right? Which is crazy because they all, in some way, shape, or form, no matter how poor or dead we think they are, they've all scored quite a bit of goals. They've assisted and had their moments and, won us games here and there. I think probably every single one of them has probably won us a game, at least once, in this period of time, in the last like 3 seasons, right? And it's just interesting because, like, again, this is all online, and I know online is different to the ground, but to be honest, online and the ground is only about 50, 60 odd thousand people anyway. So it's actually, I always see like people I always look at it like this here. When people say minority versus majority, the majority is always going to be online anyway. There's a minority on the ground. Do you know what I mean? And in Liverpool, as an example, which I know a lot of them, are just happy with the players that we've got, and especially because we're looking like we're going to win the Premier League and etc. But online, again, to me, that's always going to be deemed as a majority consensus, just because there's more people online than there would be, closer to the ground and stuff like that. And it's just the makeup of things. But a general consensus tells us that, yeah, like we would get rid of these guys. We don't really rate them like that. We don't really rate half the team, to be honest with you. And I find that so weird that, like, we're about to win a league potentially. Hopefully we do that. We're about to win a league, right? But we'd probably sell like 8 or 9 players of the squad. Like, I find that, like, so. I don't think I've ever really seen it. And it's not like we're talking like a couple years ago where we had Henderson, Fabinho, and Thiago and Matic, like all of these guys injured or old, and Milner's. Fairs. That makes sense. I'm talking now. And that was only like 2 years ago. So 2 years later, we're still looking at, nah, let's get rid of like this guy. Like, everyone would easily get rid of the whole of the attack. Bar maybe Salah, and if he goes, he goes. But the rest, we all want a new striker. We all wouldn't mind a new left winger, and we all wouldn't mind a new right winger. Like, it's just one of those kind of things. And I just find that in itself so interesting when I think about these kind of things, right? Like, if we think about all the players in and around the world, in and around Europe and all of that kind of stuff, like, are they that much better? I don't really know. But when we're looking, purposely at like the Premier League options, right? So obviously one of the main options out there, of course, is going to be Semenyo. He's a player that quite a few of you have spoken about. I think Liverpool might be linked, or they're definitely monitoring him. Obviously this season he's got himself 9 goals and 6 assists. Plays on the left, plays on the right. He can play through the middle. Versatile individual, very strong physical individual is what I would say about someone like him. Off the ball work, obviously for Bournemouth, the way that Bournemouth play, what Iraola, expects from his team in terms of the press and stuff like that. That might be, really, really good for Arne Slot. I think, yeah, honestly, he's such a calm player. Like, he's a calm guy. Like, I wouldn't be mad, but I wouldn't be thrilled. I think maybe in a different system, you could say certain players might thrive. I don't know. I feel like Slot wants his wingers really and truly to almost play as like inside forwards, really. And if I'm being honest, I don't know. I don't really feel like it's like he wants a winger. Like, and I look at Semenyo as like, you're a winger, like you're a left winger, you're a right winger. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, because that's what we've got kind of really now. But he wants them to come more in field, because we want to create those overloads to then allow for the fullbacks to then run on the outside. So if that being said, in terms of like chance creation and stuff like that, if that's what he wants, and he wants those overloads in the middle, we're going to need people who are comfortable really coming on the inside. Can they play when they do get on the inside? Can they play 1-2s? Can they, do all of that kind of stuff? Are they okay in tight spaces, etc.? All of that stuff. That's where I look at Semenyo and be like, I feel like he's quite limited at that. I've not seen enough. And again, I ain't saying he can't do it. Someone in the comment section probably will be able to tell me, nah, he can do it. No problem. I just haven't seen it enough to then really hang my hat on that and say, yeah, nah, he can do that. No worries. I'm more, he's more to me someone, again, winger on the outside. I'm not saying can't come inside, but on the outside, even if he's on the left-hand side and he has to cut in, I always feel like, I still don't feel like he's comfortable in those kind of areas. If I'm being honest with you, I feel like he's really good with space. He's really, really good with space. So that's the way I look at someone, like a Semenyo. Then you've obviously got Mbeumo. This is someone that, again, a lot of people speak about. A lot of people want 15 goals and 6 assists this season for Brentford. And again, another calm player. Put him in the same bracket as a Semenyo in terms of the level of the player. On that right-hand side, again, I guess this is more so if Salah were to leave. I don't think I don't know, actually. I don't know if he would be willing to come if Salah stayed. And just, I guess maybe you then have to like try and rotate him in and out, of the squad. I don't think he's someone who can play on the left or play through the middle like that. Not say it's impossible, but I just feel like he prefers coming in off of that right-hand side onto his left foot. He can curl one in or, smack one into the back of the net. But very important for Brentford, him and Vissa. I feel like they're very, very important for what they try and do, especially at times when they leave one of the two up top by themselves. Mbeumo reminds me of Salah anyway in the way that he plays for Brentford. Like, at times you'll just see man chilling on that right-hand side. At times I've seen him get locked up just like a Salah against players. You think, bro, you should be able to, and then he gets locked up in that game. He's someone who always seems to be isolated on that right-hand side, but then he comes alive in and around. He's like Salah. They're both the same, in my opinion. Just do things obviously differently, but they're the same in terms of their style of play for their team, for their respective teams, in terms of very isolated on that right hand side, comes alive in and around the box, and he's a danger. And you don't really want that type of player, to do that, to be, dangerous when it comes in and around the box, because he's like a light just switches on for someone like him. But again, he's a player that, I know a lot of people, like Kudus. This season, I guess West Ham have been kind of rubbish this season. He was a revelation last season, obviously, after joining from Ajax. And I know that Liverpool were looking at him when he was at Ajax. If we remember the Champions League game that we had against Ajax, and he scored in that game. Played very well, actually, to be fair. But even then, he's quite versatile. Can play midfield, whether that's centre mid, attacking mid, left or right. So that could be something we could potentially use. I do think he is comfortable playing in the middle of the park. So again, cutting in from either wing, to be honest with you, I feel like he's mad comfortable playing in those kind of areas. And again, that versatility might work in our favor. Again, I'm just trying to think like Liverpool and maybe how the board and the the Edwards and the Hughes and all of these guys, how they might think in terms of, okay, if we can get this kind of guy who can cover like 3 positions, then we can sort out another. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to just throw names and stuff out there, of players. And as I said before, people, please, in the comment section, make sure you throw some names in there. But yeah, he like, numbers wise, I put the numbers up here, and it won't be for every player that we take a look at today. But yeah, forget the numbers and everything. Just let me know in the comment section about the players themselves. Like, what do you think of the player? Do you think that this player can add, to Liverpool? I think maybe the versatility might work in his favor potentially for Liverpool. So that could be one to, potentially watch. This is obviously Gordon. Everyone was on to Gordon. He's got 9 goals and 7 assists this season. Compared on that left-hand side, decent on the right-hand side, but he's more of a left winger. Obviously, more of a left winger, but also playing off of Isak at times, and can play through them up front as well. So again, is that something that we might potentially be looking at to, to help us cover a couple of positions? Yeah, that could be something. I don't know if he signed a new deal or anything like that. I'm not even 100% sure, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that, well, I say I'm pretty sure, but I'm kind of confident that he won't be leaving to come to Liverpool anyway, to be honest. And I don't know if this is the real direction that we kind of want to go in for someone like him. And again, not say he's bad. I think he's decent. I just think that, again, like I said before, players who can play more infield than out there on the wings, comfortable in the middle, in and around. I don't know. Do I look at him like that? I feel like we want to play more of a possession-based game. We don't really have, outside of Salah, the rest of the wingers ain't necessarily quick like that. Gordon is very quick. He likes space. Are we going to be playing football like that? Where Liverpool, we come up against these low blocks quite a lot. We create the overloads in the middle so that we get the space on the wings. You know what? Liverpool, at times, they remind me of like old school Barcelona, who used to do that quite a lot. Like, those third man runs be coming from the left back, from Dani Alves, Jordi Alba, and all of these kind of guys. But Iniesta, Xavi, Messi, Suarez, Busquets, all of these guys are playing in the middle of the park. You completely forgot the fucking switch out there on the right wing or on the left, kind of thing. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Gordon would be someone that, we might potentially, look at. But let me know if there's any other Premier League options. I missed out, like Matoma and that. I don't know if that would be someone that we would look. I like Matoma as well. He's a really good dribbler. Yeah, he's a good dribbler, so I wouldn't mind someone like that. But I feel like he's more in the Diaz mode. So if you're gonna get rid of Diaz, I wouldn't then sign Matoma, if that makes sense, kind of thing. But let me know if there's any other names in the Premier League that I have missed out on. Then we get to like the rest of the world. Obviously we've got Ademola Lookman, African Player of the Year. This season's been interesting for him, man. I've seen him come off the bench quite a few times. I don't know if he's got beef going on with the Atalanta manager or anything like that, but yeah, I mean, he's still scoring goals. He's still doing his thing. Can play on that left-hand side. Can play through the middle as well. As a lone striker, because he's done that quite a bit for Atalanta, and he seems comfortable in doing so. Can drop deep when he needs to drop deep, pick up the ball if again that's something that Slot is looking for in a player. He does that also from the left-hand side as well. So yeah, I feel like that could be one to watch potentially. Depends. Yeah, depends. Obviously, he used to play for Everton, so I don't know how that's gonna necessarily go down. 2 players here I would love for us to sign. Doué and Barcola of PSG. I do not see us signing any of those. Yeah, I feel like it would be mad unrealistic to ask for to ask for one of these two guys, because PSG are trying to build over there their type of team and, you know, young players and stuff like that. I don't know if they'd be willing to sell like that. I really don't. I feel like it would cost a pretty penny anyway. And PSG ain't the type of club who are in need of money. Unless the player just doesn't play, they don't really just sell like that. If you like, it will be when you look back at their sales, and I've looked at them anyway. It's usually players who are not really playing like that. And then maybe agitate for a move. I feel like these two are too early in their PSG career to worry about that. And also PSG could be en route to be winning Champions League. If they do that, you ain't getting none of their players. I promise you. They ain't trying to leave that. You know what I mean? Because from there, they just get better. And PSG winning the Champions League, I don't know if people understand. That's dangerous. That's real dangerous, you know. Don't let PSG win the Champions League, because I promise you, it will get long. The project that they've been trying to do since Jesus was a boy, yeah, that project will now start looking, yeah, I mean, a bit crazy. Yeah, I mean, mind games, boy. Nico Williams, he's another one. Numbers wise, don't really matter, to be honest with you. When I look at him, he is someone who he threatens all the time, man. Yes, he's had some underwhelming performances for Bilbao this season. I will definitely agree with that. Some of the games I've watched of him, I'm like, come on, man. Like, I kind of expected a little bit more from you, expected a bit better. But it's like a bit even. It's a bit even. He's had underwhelming games, but he's had some really good games where he hasn't actually scored, but just a threat so much down that side. And I look at players like him, and I think, yeah, you know, maybe in a possession-based side, he might work. He might potentially work. You know, but he's almost, I almost look at him like Salah. You always have to get the ball to him for him to be effective. And he's kind of the same. I'm like, you always have to keep giving him the ball, keep giving him the ball, keep giving him the ball, and then go from there. You know, so whether that will work at Liverpool, I don't really know, and I'm not really that confident. But I like Nico Williams though. He's got a little something about him. He's got a little something about him. I'll be reasonably pleased with that signing if we did sign someone like him, young player as well, especially. You know, he's won international honors. You know, he's doing his thing for Athletic Bilbao as well. Yeah, I mean, he's got to move at some point. I don't think he can stay there and just, you know, keep his career there. I think if he wants to aim higher, he's going to need to move at some point in time. And that's not me trying to be disrespectful to Bilbao, but yeah, that's just the way I kind of see it. Gittins, Mr. Gittins. Borussia Dortmund. I know Savage will not be happy that I put him in this list. But yeah, he's another player, decent player, young player. Yeah, like he to me is more of a winger more than anything else. I don't really look at him like someone who, I don't know if he'd fit Liverpool like that, but he is just a name that, you know, gets banded about. And Alex Bainer from Villarreal. I can see, and I've only watched him full game maybe like twice, 3 times at most this season, right? But I can understand why Manchester City were after this guy, because he's like a Manchester City player. And sometimes I sit there and think, is Arne Slot trying to be like a newer gen Manchester City in terms of the way that he's got like his small technical players, you know, in the midfield, and that's the way that he wants to keep possession, keep the ball, and it's a bit slow, methodical. Is he trying to do that? If so, then you get someone like him. Yeah, he plays on that left hand side, but yeah, he's more like trying to think Bernardo Silva, but maybe without the work rate. He does not have that work rate that Bernardo Silva has. That's where that will be an issue for Liverpool and Arne Slot. That's the only thing about him I would say, is that work rate wise, I don't know about all of that. I don't really know. But yeah, he'd be an interesting kind of. You know, if you sign someone like him, right? I don't know. He's like, obviously in terms of he's not a big name or anything like that, but he's one of those signings that you sign and you're like, okay, so this is the route that you're trying to go down. Like, it would just be interesting, and I'd want to read a bit more about him and watch some more comps and stuff like that, and, you know, really see how he can fit into the team. But it's funny because if he went to Manchester City as an example, it's like I wouldn't even bat an eyelid. But it's almost like, because I know, yeah, well, he will just slot into this system here. He will do this and do that and yada, 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 and etc. It's one of them things, isn't it? And obviously with Slot, we don't have that much evidence really to go on, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I mean, there's other names, Rodrigo, Leao. Yeah, there's probably some more names. And guys, in the comment section, let me know of any of the other names, of any of the other wingers, any of the other players that you would kind of wish, Liverpool, to sign and stuff like that. Because like I said, I'll be very, very intrigued to know, the kind of direction that you as fans want Liverpool to kind of go in with this summer and the signings that we make. So, like I said, we've had like the left back options, the Trent replacements, gonna do the midfield options. Like, what kind of direction are we trying to go in? Because remember, we're like ultimately, I'm assuming anyway that we're trying to go into the mold of what an Arne Slot team should look like. But obviously, this ain't Feyenoord. This is Liverpool. So the caliber and quality of player that you can now go for should be of a somewhat quote unquote higher level. And you've got more money to kind of play with. So maybe you can get the extra player or two that maybe you can never really get, you know, at a Feyenoord. So yeah, let me know, man. Let me know in the chat, as I say, people, what you guys think in regards to the players that we should and shouldn't sign in the summer, people. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.